Today's a special day here. Today is March 25th, 2026. And you are about to listen to episode 001, my podcast with David F. Anderson, Sr. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on our very first podcast. We hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. My name's David F. Anderson, Sr. I have dyslexia, which is a learning disability. Reading and writing has eluded me my whole life. Through modern technology and the power of AI, I have a voice I never had before. For more than 60 years, I treated dyslexia like it was a dirty secret. I could never let anyone know that I had it. But the truth is, more than 45 million people in the United States have some form of learning disability that is directly associated with dyslexia. But like me, they're keeping their dirty little secret quiet. The stigma that surrounds dyslexia makes it clear to them and to all of us who have it that we're judged differently once it's acknowledged. There's no cure for dyslexia. You have to learn to live with it. You have to accept it as part of your life, accept the hidden treasures that come with it, and the disappointments that also come with it. But modern technology has leveled that playing field for us. My podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. is about talking to those 45 million people, letting them understand that there's technology out there that can level the playing field and give them a voice, same as I have a voice now. And if some of you want to share those stories, talk about the technology and how it's improved your life, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure everyone who has dyslexia or knows someone who has dyslexia know that there is help out there. If you've got a story about modern technology and how it changed your life, we want to hear it. Or if you've got a story how you overcome a disability with modern technology, we want to hear it. This is about sharing your stories, your struggles in your life, and how it can benefit someone else by knowing it. I went my whole life almost thinking I was the only one that had dyslexia, the only one that was like me, when the truth is millions are like me, millions. I hope you have a little better understanding about what my podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. is all about. I've put together quite a team. We're ready to help in any way we can to get the message up. Carol, Linda, Ralph, Richard, we're all here. We're ready to get going. We've been working hard at it for the last couple of months, putting together this podcast. And just like everyone else, there's always a million questions. Carol, Linda, and Richard and Ralph. So there's a lot of questions, but what I told them to do is save them for at the end here. Once we get to know everyone, you can understand what the show's about, they're going to come out, they're going to ask the questions that you're dying to ask. Don't allow dyslexia to silence your voice. Let me show you how you can speak loud and clear with a voice that everyone can hear. Modern technology is amazing. When I first came across Speechified, I couldn't believe it. It would read everything to me. Microsoft. I can't even explain to you how Microsoft's changed my life. I'm able to talk, and Microsoft creates those words for me on paper. It's unbelievable. Grammarly comes right behind me, checking everything. And then I can take it all that, put it together, thanks to Amazon, and put it in a book. Here I am, can barely read and write. And thanks to modern technology, I'm writing books and publishing. I'm running a web page. I'm posting blogs. I'm hosting a podcast. Please take a minute, listen in. Trust me when I tell you this. You know someone with dyslexia. They're just not telling you because they're ashamed. Our goal is to touch as many lives affected by dyslexia as we can. And that includes those lives of people who don't have dyslexia, but have someone in their life that has dyslexia. So please like and share. Buy a book. The book's not written for someone just with dyslexia to read. The books are written for anyone to read. But the benefit from the sale of this book goes to promoting what you see right here on this podcast and what you can explore on my webpage. It goes to the software and the permission to use the music and everything that you see. That's what the sale of those books go to. That's what I use the money for. So please, buy a book. It makes a big difference. Here's the rest of the crew. Let's see what they have to say. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in just a little bit.
David's story is a perfect example. 60 years of keeping that secret until he finally found his own voice, independent of others. Modern technology transformed his life overnight. For him, that's the real story, the technology that can help so many. He's now a self-published author, managing all his own social media, creating everything himself, hosting his own podcast, and writing several books, which Richard is about to discuss. And through it all, he lives with dyslexia.
If you want to get a copy of David F. Anderson Sr.'s book, Growing Up with Dyslexia, type his name into your browser, davidfandersonsr.com. That is davidfandersonsr.com. When you're there, maybe sign up for his monthly newsletter. Or just drop us a line. Tell us how you feel. Tell us your story. If you want to email us, it's just as easy as finding it. Just type in your email address, david@davidfandersonsr.com again. That is david@davidfandersonsr.com. Let us know what you think or tell us your story.
One of the great things about today's technology is that you can get any book delivered to you however you want. If you want it in hardcover or paperback, you want an ebook, or you want to read it on Amazon's Kindle Unlimited. Everything's right there at your fingertips, and if you want, you can have the book read to you. Today's modern technology is all made possible by AI.
After writing Growing Up with Dyslexia, David found a voice he never knew he had. He couldn't stop writing and began creating fictional stories, like the ice virus, a chilling tale best avoided when home alone. You'll Never Look at Animals the Same, and the heartbreaking Blue on Blue, inspired by headlines from his own neighborhood. Once he shared with the world that he had dyslexia, he became determined to shine a light on it from that moment forward.
I took David up on his challenge and read a copy of The Ice Virus at home alone. He's right, I'll never look at animals the same way again. I know it's a fictional story, but it still scared me.
I read it too, Carol, but I didn't try that home alone thing, I was too scared. I do find myself watching the trees and the birds now, though. If you want a copy of any of David Anderson's books, just go to his website. Simply type in davidfandersonsr.com in your browser, it's that easy. Browse around, check out some of his blog posts, leave him a message, or sign up for the newsletter. Selling books is how he covers his expenses, so help out by buying one. I won't lie, I'm not cheap. Honestly, I don't see how he makes any money, but I don't think that's his main goal. I believe his first goal is to help as many people as possible by sharing his story.
Like you, Lisa, I didn't read it alone either. I remember seeing some of David's posts right after he created that picture, and I'm sure everyone remembers it. He took a couple of pages from his book, The Ice Virus, and used an AI to generate an image. It turned out to be pretty scary. You can find it on any of David's social media sites. I'm going to read a few of those same pages so you can get a sense of just how frightening the book is, and then you can look up the picture. It starts as a low vibration, barely noticeable, but soon the ground trembles, and the noise intensifies, sending shivers up their spines. The air itself seems to quiver, carrying the deep, relentless rhythm that grows with each passing second. It sounds like a train moving through the weeds at high speed, relentless and unstoppable, the sensation rolling over them in waves. Suddenly, a deafening crash split the heavy silence, echoing through the trees and rattling the ground beneath. Without warning, a giant herd of deer exploded from the tangled undergrowth behind them, hooves pounding the earth and sending flecks of damp soil flying through the air. Bill and Vince, adrenaline surging as the deafening stampede rushed closer, muscles tensed, and eyes wide with fear. It is an ambush. There's no time to think. Their instincts take over as the world erupts around them. Bill's heart hammers in his chest while he glances at Vince, desperate for a plan that isn't there.
The thunderous pounding of hooves draws closer, each step sending vibrations through the earth. Rumbling across the forest floor like distant drums, the rush of wind from the charging animals carries with it the sharp, musky scent of panic and disturbed earth, filling the air and heightening their senses. The deer are headed straight at them, a blur of wild eyes and flashing antlers. Bill and Vince are in terror as the relentless wave barrels closer, their hearts hammering in their chests. Every breath they take, the noise is overwhelming, and the ground is quivering beneath their feet.
The AI-generated image was spot on, perfectly matching the description you just heard. If you haven't seen it yet, check out one of David F. Anderson's social media pages, where you'll find it among his posts. The Ice Virus. Simply type in davidfandersonsenior.com and grab yours today. Read it alone if you dare, but don't say you weren't warned.
You can grab a copy of any of David F. Anderson Sr.'s books exclusively on Amazon, available in paperback, hardcover, or ebook, or read them with Kindle Unlimited, which helps support our podcast. My podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. is funded through the sales of his books, so pick one up today. Just type in his name, David F. Anderson Sr., in your browser to find everything you need to know about his books. You can even enjoy his blog posts while getting a book. Don't wait, do it today.
After reading Blue and Blue, the one thing that stayed with me, besides the tragic story, is the cover. I think it says it all. I think it makes it so clear what the story is that you're about to read. The story is based on real events. I think the first few pages capture exactly how you think this tragedy's going to unfold. These are the opening pages of Blue on Blue. It's 8:30 in the evening. The living room is quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the soft breaths of Jennifer's son, tucked into his blanket on the couch. The last remnants of twilight seep through the curtains. Jennifer glances at the clock, anxiety prickling beneath her skin as she hears a car door close outside. Her ex-boyfriend steps onto the porch, shoulders hunched and eyes tired, carrying the weight of their recent breakup. The air feels heavy, thick with memories and unresolved pain. They've only been apart for a couple of weeks, and this is his first time visiting. Jennifer notices the uncertainty in his eyes, the way he hesitates before knocking. She quietly questions whether he senses the same uneasy shift in their relationship, her curiosity mingling with a discomfort she refuses to voice. He's been working overtime, trying to keep his mind off things. She knows because she has heard the weariness in his voice during short, tense phone calls. Jennifer stills herself, determined to keep the peace tonight. She's exhausted, she wants to avoid any big hassles. She forces a polite smile and says, "Sure, come on in." The words feel rehearsed, her voice wavering slightly as she opens the door. She tries to project calm, but her hands tremble as she brushes her hair behind her ear. Jennifer reminds herself that breakups are hard on everyone, and tonight, she must be the calm center for her son's sake. Knowing the story is based on real events is tragic in itself. Just imagining all of that happening to someone is hard to believe. Visit davidfandersonsr.com and check out Blue on Blue by David F. Anderson Sr. Take a look today. You can be reading it in 5 minutes as an ebook or on Kindle Unlimited, or have it on its way to your home in paperback or hardcover from Amazon. They're waiting to take your order. Don't hesitate. Place your order now, we've got payroll to make. Selling books is how we all get paid. Please buy a book.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. At least those of us who've been here since the start of my podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. David has agreed to answer our questions. My first question, which might be the one we're all thinking, but I'll go ahead and use up, is it true we were hired because you can't read from a script? Does your dyslexia make you sound like a robot? Not that we're planning on asking for more money or anything. Just part of our research.
Thank you, Carol, for the wonderful question. A little bit self-serving. But before I get going, this is Carol Stevens. She's been doing a fantastic job here tonight. So I just want to get that out of the way. When I read from a script, I have to read it really, really slow. And those pauses in between, and then they try to take those pauses out. That's where they get the effect that I sound like a robot. So I don't sound like a robot. That's clearly I don't. But when I'm reading from a script, it is difficult for me to do that. That's true. Because you did great research. Every one of you have a fantastic voice, and this is where you should be, on the air. That's why you were hired. And they do want to get this stuff read fast, and I am a little bit slow doing it. So, okay, maybe both things are right. Okay? Maybe you're
What did you do before you became a writer and found your voice? Also, what makes you believe that sharing stories can help others, particularly those with dyslexia?
Well, Carol, the short answer is what haven't I done? I've had a lot of jobs over the years. I've tried just about everything. The one thing I've done consistently, though, is construction. Since my very first project when I was 16, me and my brother, I've been in construction my whole life. 35 years I spent in construction. When I retired, I was a licensed general building contractor in the state of West Virginia. So I'd say construction was my living before I became a writer. On the podcast, I had been thinking about the podcast for a while, and my son-in-law had mentioned he thought I'd do well doing a podcast about dyslexia. But the final push was Dave Klein. His relative follows me on one of the social media posts, and she had told him about me, and he had contacted me. Not because he had dyslexia, because he was just finished writing a book, and he wanted to know how to publish it, how I did it. I took him through the steps of how I did it, from making the cover to publishing it, what Amazon did for me. And then a couple weeks went by, and he texted me and said, "Thanks for all the help. I just published my book. It's on sale at Amazon." I think that was the final push that made me decide, yeah, I could help people with a podcast. Here I am helping someone who doesn't even need help with dyslexia. Just telling this story helped him. So that's what makes me think I can help people. And everything I learned, everything that I know, and all this technology, everything I got from social media posts, YouTube, all those things. So that changed my life. Now, grant you, it took a long time to research all these things and figure out how they work, but that's what I can shortcut for people. That's what makes me think I can do that. I just want to add, Dave Klein, which is the gentleman who called me and was the reason that I decided to go ahead and do the podcast. I was already planning it, but he was the final push. That's a David Klein, spelled Cline, and the book that he wrote was The Lonesome Road, Volume 1. So go ahead and check it out. He's all on Amazon. Just put in his name, the book, The Lonesome Road, Volume 1. Check out Dave Klein. I see Linda drew the straw for the next 3 questions, so these next 3 questions are coming from Linda Clark. All right, Linda, when you're ready.
You have mentioned that AI has played a significant role in helping you find your voice. I am curious, how much of your story has been shaped by AI? My second question is, you have set the stage for an exciting conversation on the podcast. From diving into dyslexia to exploring how we can enhance our lives and addressing the intersection of disability and modern technology, there is so much to unpack. Is there anything we will not cover on my podcast with David F. Anderson Sr.? And for my third question, did I hear you correctly talking earlier to Richard about 1 out of every 6 people in the U.S. has some form of learning disability directly related to dyslexia?
I use a subscription to Microsoft 365. And when I'm in Microsoft Word, I talk and Microsoft writes down and creates the text for my stories, books, podcasts, scripts, everything. That is a form of AI. That's the type of AI I'm talking about when I'm talking about Microsoft. When I'm talking about Grammarly, it takes those same things that I just created with Microsoft, and Grammarly goes over top of it and corrects all the mispronunciations, all the words, E's, everything that's not correct, it fixes. And it does change the wording because it's spoke incorrectly. But the stories are all mine. Everything's mine. The only thing's done is these AI software programs edit my work. That's what I'm talking about. They edit my work. They don't do it. They edit it for me. But they make it possible. Politics. We're not going to talk politics. Dyslexia doesn't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. And as far as helping someone, I don't care either. So we're not going to talk politics. That's the only thing. Everything else is on the table. Feel free. Okay. Linda, you did hear me correctly. 1 out of every 6 people in the U.S. have some form of learning disability directly related to dyslexia. Here's a number that's even going to be more staggering. There's 4 to 5 children in every classroom in America that has dyslexia. Think about that. Every classroom in America, there is 4 to 5 children who have dyslexia. When I tell you that it is impossible for you not to know someone who has dyslexia, now you know why, because it is impossible. They might not be telling you, but you know them. They're just not mentioning that they have dyslexia. Not yet. The next 3 questions are coming from Ralph Thomas. All right, Ralph, you're up. Let's hear him.
I have a thought-provoking question for you, and it is packed with layers to explore. If I am getting this right, it all began with you crafting a story that Amazon then ships directly to readers. No middlemen at all. It is truly a remarkable process. No editors, no designers, no proofreaders, and no cover art. Everything we are experiencing is completely your creation, from the podcast to the website to the blog posts. And here is the kicker. You have done all on your own, without any staff or assistance, while also managing dyslexia.
I wish I could tell you that you're wrong. I wish I could tell you that I had a giant staff and that everyone's doing their part and I just come in and do these little voiceover things and that's it. But the truth is, it's exactly what you said. And you 4 come over and do the voiceover for me on everything that I write. So, yeah, it's true. This is all me. All the mistakes, all the start overs, everything's me. Yeah. I did like getting the whole question all at once like that, though, Ralph. That did make it easy. Maybe the next time I set this up, I'll make sure I do it that way. You can have one big question. All right. On to the next question. The man of the hour, Richard Wright. We're ready for your questions.
I have a challenge for you. Imagine you are in the hot seat for a lead position on an exciting new podcast focused on dyslexia. Here's the twist. You have never recorded a podcast before, and reading from a script is not your strong suit. Now, convince me why you are the perfect fit for this role.
Richard, this seems like deja vu. Didn't we just do this about 2 months ago, but reverse roles? I'm pretty sure that's what we did. For 67 years, I've navigated dyslexia. I've worn a lot of hats over those years and held a lot of jobs. But the one thing I did every day of my life was navigate dyslexia. So when it comes to can I discuss dyslexia, I think I can discuss it as well as anyone else who has dyslexia. That I can guarantee you. Okay, everyone. We want your questions. We want your stories. We want your participation. We want you to listen. We want you to tell other people. We want you to like. We want you to share. We want to make a difference in people's lives by simply telling these stories. 45 million people have dyslexia, and majority of them are keeping it quiet and no one else knows. There's technology out there that can change their lives. Let's do it together. Okay, everyone. Anyone else got anything left to say? Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in next month for the next show. Obviously, it'll be a different format, but that's okay. But please, share the story. My podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. All right. Let's have a great evening, and God bless.
I hope everyone enjoyed my podcast with David F. Anderson Sr. I hope you all like and share, and come back next month for episode 2. Let's take dyslexia out of the darkness. Since I'm last to talk this month, I would really appreciate it if everyone would log on to their browser right now, type in davidfandersonsenior.com and buy a book. That way I can take credit for it. Come on, you're going to buy a book anyways. You know it helps this podcast. This is how he pays everyone. This is how he takes care of everything. So come on, log on to your browser right now, type in davidfandersonsenior. Check out the podcast. Go ahead and make fun of his picture, but buy a book. We really need the okay. We'll see you next month. That's davidfandersonsenior.com.